We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to... Did I say good afternoon? Well, for some people, wherever you are, maybe the afternoon, but good morning. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we come to you every single morning to talk about love, life, relationships, and how to take your relationship to the next level. Wherever you're dialing in from, whatever city, state, or country, let us know. We want to acknowledge you because this community is growing and we're super duper duper excited about it.
Absolutely, guys. I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and always subscribing. Make sure that you hit that notification bell. You won't miss a show. We really appreciate how you go through to the ends to make sure that this message is reaching the 4 corners of the planet, and it is doing so every single day. So thank you guys and keep up the good work.
We're in a series, we've been talking about the pain of infidelity, but the focus has been on the betrayed spouse. I promise we will get to the unfaithful spouse, but we're still kind of unpacking it. There's a few more things that we need to cover in it. But before we jump in, just a couple quick announcements. You know, we got to do this Last Chance Weekend coming up the 11th through the 13th. That's next weekend. We are filling up, but there is room for more. And then thereafter, February the 19th, the Overcoming Emotional Triggers live masterclass. It's from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's only $197. It's going to be incredible. We've done this a couple years ago, and it's very impactful because we're not just talking and giving you a deep, historical, comprehensive, philosophical explanation on what it is, but we're giving you the how-to.
Absolutely,
that's what people are looking for.
And the other thing that it's where you're at. Like, we talk to you guys every day, and it will hit you exactly where you're at. Many of you are struggling with the triggers every day, don't know how to manage them, don't even understand what types of triggers you're going through, because there are certain types and there are phases that you move through with the triggering as you heal. And so, healing is a choice. We say it all the time. And so you have to make sure that you get the information that you need to do so. So join it. It's $197. I mean, that's like Starbucks for a couple of days. Right?
Especially your habit, yeah,
right?
Because you go in.
Seriously, coffee.
No, that is our habit. Listen, if you're a member of the Moving Forward program, it is a part of your program, so there's nothing you need to do. All you need to do is show up. If you're not, then you definitely want to register. Also, Foundry, we're starting February 23rd. Slots are filling up. The links, guys, the links are in the descriptions. If you want to join Unearthed, that's April 6th through June 22nd, and I think a few people have registered for that as well. So for those who ask, well, where do I find it? I don't know where to find it. If you look in the description of this video, all those links are available. Just click it. It'll take you directly to the page to find out more information and to register. All right. We're talking about the ongoing pain of the betrayed spouse. We gave you some foundational things over the last couple of days. We're going to jump right back into this conversation. And we both want to speak to this. Here's another one, guys. For the betrayed spouse, your imagination torments you with thoughts of what they did together. This is something that people typically experience in their discovery phase. And oftentimes you're having ongoing conversations about the details of what has happened. And when they're given to you in pieces and parts and it's fragmented and spread out over a period of time, the trickle truth, once again, we talk about how you're putting all these other pieces together on your own and forming these images, and you begin to ruminate about what has happened. And it could be torturing because you can't focus on work. You're watching TV shows and you're just tuned out. Your attention is somewhere else because you are so preoccupied, obsessed with what you believe took place.
And you know what? It's you don't even have to actually know what has taken place. You can actually make it up in your own head to try to close those loops. You're just telling yourself the story. And, it often results in sleepless nights. Like, you can't sleep. Matter of fact, I had a sleepless night last night, just thinking about all the things that I have to do this week and get ready for. I had so many things that I have, and I still have to. And so I kept waking up and the thoughts were on my mind, and I was thinking, could you just stop thinking about it? You'll get it done tomorrow. And this is what happens. But what's going on is you're actually replaying the experience of your unfaithful spouse. You weren't in the room. And so it's a very tormenting experience. And that's why you need to join that triggers program, because these are the triggers that we're talking about, right? You cannot control this thing that's come over you. Your mind is going, and you really need to learn how to get control of that so that you can get your sleep again and that you can relax.
That's a huge thing right there, the sleep. I think that's one of the
huge.
greatest. When I say greatest, I mean, it's one of the most common issues that people struggle with, either nightmares or sleepless nights. And, people are not eating, they're not sleeping, their health is being impacted because they have no control over the thoughts that come into their mind.
It's either excitement or dread, right? That's what keeps us up at night. Either we're thinking about something we anticipate or something that we feared. So
one of the things you need to learn how to do is to really control your mind, right? One of the ways you can do that is through meditating, right? Being intentional in terms of what you allow in, because it slows your mind down instead of it racing, constantly racing and racing and racing. And so these techniques, I mean, once again, we can give you principles, right? But sometimes taking a deeper dive into something, we can walk you through the actual journey of how to begin to do it. And it's critically necessary, because I'm telling you, what's happening in your mind becomes so real to you. That's the other thing. Like, you form facts in your mind based upon feelings, but feelings aren't facts. And so if you matter of fact, I was just talking to a client, they're here, we're doing an intensive this weekend, and they came down from Nantucket, Massachusetts, beautiful couple. And one of the things we said is that it was what was it? It was Adolf Hitler who said that a lie told 1,000 times is more powerful than the truth told once. And oftentimes the things that you are imagining are pieces and parts and fragments of truth. But the more you hear it, the more you see it, the more you experience it, the more real it becomes. So then when finally the truth comes out, you don't believe it because you've believed the lie that you've heard 1,000 times to yourself.
Right. Or, you've done so much research and you've put all the pieces together because you didn't have the full truth, right? So again, about closing those loops. You hear people say, I'm a good investigator. I know how to research. I'm a powerful detective. And so you've gathered all these facts because the unfaithful spouse has not told you everything. They have trickled out the truth. And so you have closed those loops and told the story that makes sense to you. Then when the truth comes out, you can't believe the truth because it took so long to get to the truth. And you've already built an empire of details to come to your own conclusions.
So guys, begin to control your mind. That's the key to the breakthrough of dealing with the triggers. You want to go to the next one?
All right. The next one is you are embarrassed because your spouse cheated on you. I mean, very self-explanatory. You think about who you're embarrassed by, right? So your friends, your family. Oftentimes people are dealing with the fact that they actually have to see the affair partner in their lives, right? And so that's incredibly embarrassing. Many people are prominent in their community. A lot of folks are the couple, the go-to couple. So everybody comes to you when they need advice, when they're going through in their relationships, or you're somebody prominent in the church, and then there's this infidelity. It is like putting a bullet through the frame of your entire life, and so now your life and the image of your family is in question because you look like you were the perfect family, but the truth is that you're not. So this is why people hide and don't tell anybody, and they're actually going through this process alone because they really don't have anybody to turn to that they feel safe talking to about it.
It's so deep, making this even real and practical. There are people who have experienced an affair, and the betrayal has literally aborted their purpose. Because to your point, in ministry, in church, we were the leaders. We were the head. We were the ones that taught and counseled. And now it happened to us. And the level of shame that comes upon you because it wasn't supposed to happen to you, not that couple. And because it happened to us, a couple of things are going on. Number one, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment. So I've got to remove myself. And we've known people who have literally stopped going to let's just take a pause from our position. They just stopped going to church, period. Completely. Because they didn't want to look in the eyes of the people who they would speak to and counsel. And now they're the quote unquote failures as well. Or they feel like a fraud. Or they feel like a fraud, right?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? Like here we are presenting like this image, and trust and believe there were problems in the relationship long before the affair happened. But all that time, nobody knew about it. You were covering it with the facade, right? And so now the infidelity takes place, and it's like, the covering has been removed off you. And now everybody sees all your flaws and all your issues. It's embarrassing. And that's just talking about like your social life, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't even include the embarrassment when your family finds out.
And then the other piece of it, people disappear and separate themselves because they don't want to become a stumbling block for other couples. Because, we said this a lot, a lot of times people who believe in God or go to church, their relationship with God is unfortunately predicated upon the pastor's relationship with
That's
God,
so true.
right? So if the pastor falls, then what hope do we have? We might as well just all do whatever we want to do. So likewise, if you're in positions of leadership and you're influencing other people's lives and your marriage stumbles, now you leave because you don't want other marriages to stumble. But let me just say this. If that is you, because we deal with many leaders of churches, of synagogues, of temples, what we want to tell you is, listen, if you go through the recovery process and you heal, now you have a powerful testimony to share. Right. And you become more relatable. Because if you present yourself as a couple who's never been through anything, you've never had a challenge, you've never had an argument, people begin to idolize you and put you on some pedestal, but they can't relate. It's hard for them to receive from you because that's the perfect couple. Right. But if you have bruises, if you've gone through challenges, and now you share the story of how you recovered from that, now your ministry, now your influence is far greater than what it ever was. Do you understand? So don't be embarrassed and shamed. Come and get this help. Come to this Last Chance Weekend. Join the master classes that we have. Get in Foundry. Get in Unearthed. Get what you need to get back to the position that you were once in so that your impact can be even greater. These are the things we're talking about. Guys, I hope you're getting something out of this conversation. We're talking about the pain of the betrayed spouse. I promise you we will get to the unfaithful spouse, but we got a couple more things to unpack. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Leave some comments.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with doubt, fear, anger, and resentment. I know you're trying to be your best self throughout this recovery process, all while still having to be mom, daughter, sister, friend, and so much more. I know it feels impossible to be there for everyone else when at times your journey feels so isolated and alone. I know that more than once a day, you scream on the inside, I can't take this anymore. I know there are days when you feel like you want to give up and run away. I know you spend too much time sitting in your car parked in the driveway to get your head right so that you can keep moving. I know this feels like a lot of work with no guarantees. And I know you wonder, what happened to me? Who am I? And why am I here? More than you'd like to admit. I know all of this because I once felt the way you do too. It may not be evident by looking around because we all wear our masks, but you're not the only one who feels like you'll never get back to you. That's why I've launched Unearthed. Unearthed is a 12-week group coaching program focused on discovering the woman within. Just as the earth hides all kinds of precious stones waiting to be found, buried within every woman are the seeds of wisdom, strength, purpose, and passion waiting to be brought to the light. Unearthed will take you through a spiritual, emotional, and physical excavation process that will reveal to you who God designed you to be and guide you through a process to embrace and activate your true identity. When you complete this journey, you'll have a new focus aligned with your core values so that you can begin to feel your life again and discover that your gifts aren't buried, but planted and waiting to be unearthed. Register today.
You did. Bye.
Welcome back, family. You're watching the Couples Academy show, and we are talking about the ongoing pain of infidelity. But I want to recognize some people, and I want to recognize this comment here from Jackie. She's saying, my grandmother always used to tell me when I experienced heartache or loss to hurry up and make new memories before the old ones took over my mind. Because bad memories can kill good futures. Willie Mae.
And I want to come back. I want to come back and address that after we acknowledge some people.
Hey, Sharon, good to see you. She's tuning in from PA. Facebook user is here. Harry is here, tuning in from New York. Cali Power Couple, good morning. Raymond Nazario, hey brother, how are you?
Is this Sincere up in the building
to see
today?
You. Sincere, can you drop a line for us? They need to hear your rap skills. I don't know if you still got rap skills. I don't know. Kenny Burkett, good morning from Birmingham, Alabama. Who else is with us? Gonzalez, my twin brother, and Jewel are joining us from Allentown, PA. Torres with us. Michelle Nelson, good morning. Jessica is tuning in. Kagiso is with us from, I think, South Africa, right? Was Kagiso from South Africa? Helix is with us from Zambia. Wow. What time is it over there? Anybody know? What time is it in Zambia and Kagiso?
I think they're 6 hours ahead.
Wow. Shalisa is with us from New Jersey. Good morning to everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got another comment from Nina. She says, Couples Academy does not need to defend themselves at all. This person clearly has not watched the videos. I am a testimony that the videos work. I saw one video and said, who is this guy? Look up Couples Academy and been hooked ever since. Okay, I don't know what the reference to the point is. Okay, and was ready to call it quits. And God said, no, I'm sending you help. Thank you, Couples Academy. Well, thank you, Nina. We appreciate the support and we appreciate the comments. Thank you very much.
We certainly do. Listen, I want to jump back down at that bottom comment because I think there's a key in that we need to go back through. When Jackie said, my grandmother always used to tell me when I'm experiencing heartache or loss to hurry up and make new memories before the old ones took over my mind, because bad memories can kill good futures. Willie Mae. That's so true. Now that is a strategy. That was a great, word of wisdom, but that is a strategy that we encourage couples to implement, because particularly when you're dealing with the anniversary of D-Day, like this anxiety because we're approaching February or March or May, whatever the month is, whatever the date is, and there's all this anxiety. And so you have to be intentional to create new experiences. And this is why we say date nights are critically important, creating new rituals, finding new things to come together on and build new memories, because the more, it's almost like you have to leave deposits, right? Because it was such a devastating blow. It was a withdrawal, a huge withdrawal. And it's like, you know what, the bank account is negative $100,000. Well, you got to fill that back up.
Right.
And you fill that up by making daily deposits and having new experiences and falling in love again. Right. And so the further you are away from that devastation and the more good that you begin to do, it enhances the relationship.
It makes me think of time-lapse therapy, which is something that is used in PTSD recovery. Folks who've been in the war and they, experienced all that trauma, what they would have to do is they'd have to go to places that would trigger them for a certain amount of time and then extend that time over time, right? So if you are somebody who really gets triggered in a room full of people because you don't know what's going to break out, and of course you have PTSD about that, then you would be instructed to go sit in that room. And maybe it's 10 minutes before you're triggered. And then you leave. And then you come back again. And next time you try to do 20 minutes. And so that time-lapse therapy actually helps you to overcome that trigger. So you had a really wise grandmother to give you that insight early on, because it's doing the same thing, right? Filling up that space with something positive. Because the more you sit in that environment that is triggering to you, you notice, wow, I'm actually safe. So recreating experiences to replace the old bad negative experience was powerful. That was science. That's what she was showing. Yes.
And those are the things that have to be done. And see, this is the work. And the reality is, if we could just be honest, if you are the betrayed spouse, you want to know what to do, but overwhelmingly, not all, but a lot, don't want to do the work.
Right.
You want the work to be done for you. You want to wake up one day and it all go away. And it doesn't happen like that. No. And until you get in your mind, I'm going to have to do something for myself to get myself out of this situation, even if it's not fair, even if I'm not responsible for where I'm at, I've got to take responsibility and accountability to get me out of this.
Yeah, wanting to do the work isn't going to get you too far. Though I did start there in many places in my life. I remember asking God, Lord, help me, God. I don't want to, but please help me want to. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that is a great place to start, having the intent. But at some point or another, you need to get up and do the thing. And the more you do the thing, it'll become natural and comfortable.
And I think that's the key. It's going to become natural and comfortable. Yeah. It's not going to be natural and comfortable at first. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel inauthentic. You're going to feel like, should I even be doing this? This is not right, because you based everything on a feeling. Right? If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel good, then maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And that's absolutely wrong. Sometimes there are going to be some feelings that you're going to have to sit in and go through the process regardless of how you feel. And by doing it, the feeling will begin to change. Does that make sense? All right. So we're talking about the pain of the betrayed spouse and the things that they battle with. Another struggle that a lot of people deal with is this. You want your spouse to pay for what they've done to you, right? Yeah. And so this is really reminiscent of those who remain stuck in that, what we would call sufferer marital pattern, because in that space, there's unforgiveness. In that space, there's bitterness. In that space, there's resentment. There's a desire to fix your partner, to make them pay for it. And here's the reality. If you consider what your spouse did the worst act, the worst sin, then anything you do will never be as bad as what your spouse did, which causes you to justify the wrong that you do. So whether you attack verbally, physically, whether you always bring it up, whether you sabotage things, whether you break, whatever you do, it can never measure up to what he or she did, which gives you more fuel to continue to do it. And so the question I have is, okay, well, if anything you do will never be as bad, and you've been doing what you've been doing for quite some time, and you know you hurt your spouse. Everything you say, everything you do, all the self-sabotaging things are hurting your spouse. My question is, if it will never measure up, then when will it ever be enough? When will you get to the point where you say, you know what, he's suffered enough. She's gone through enough. I'm now done. I'm now ready. When will you ever get to that point? Will you ever get to that point?
Will you ever get to that point? And also, what are you doing to you in the process, right? Because, you know, sometimes you're really going way outside of what you would naturally do in order to make sure that they pay. Like, were you an unfaithful person before they became an unfaithful person? And then how far down the rabbit hole did you fall? So at the end of the day, you are bringing upon torment to yourself. And now when you do wake up out of your stupor, to Hassani's point, when you do wake up and say, you know what, this is enough, they've paid enough, how much work is it now for you both to repair the damage that you've both done? It's almost like now we've perpetuated the hurt back and forth to each other. Yeah. You know, it's definitely destructive behavior. Wow.
It is. Listen, guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to take one more break. Pay attention to these commercials. They were created for you. We'll be right back in just a second.
Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with...
If you're a man and you have a pulse, then you need to join this program. You're a husband, you're a father, you're a leader. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders. You have to be everything for everyone, but do you know who and how to be for you? You're still in search of your own significance. You're in internal battle with your own vices. You're questioning, do I even know what it means to be a man? I know I'm supposed to be there for others, but what about me? The fact is, you need a model. You need a code to live by, a system of principles to govern your life. You need an internal compass to guide your every decision. You need the 4 securities to build your own kingdom. What you need is the Foundry. In short, a foundry is a facility where castings are produced by melting metal, pouring liquid metal into a mold, and then allowing it to solidify. Well, this is where we're testing the metal of men. Foundry is a 12-week men's-only coaching program. It is a brotherhood that will take each man through a purification process of the heart, mind, and soul. We here at Couples Academy promise you that if you give us 12 weeks of your life, you will no longer recognize it. If you care about the improving of your life, your marriage, and your family, register today.
Welcome back, family. You are watching the Couples Academy show, and I want to jump right back into that last comment or that last mention, which is about the revenge factor. And so I had a question about it because I know what I see talking to people, and so of course I'm coming to my own conclusion. But when it comes to when I see, for example, a wife who is trying to get revenge, right? She really wants her husband to feel the pain that she's feeling. To me, it seems exaggerated when the spouse, the unfaithful spouse, isn't completely submissive or in contrition. Like when they have not totally gotten to the point where they acknowledge all their faults and flaws, they are wrong, they're humble, they're hurt as well. Like they're hurt by her hurt, right? And is trying to help her heal. I feel like the desire is so much greater for that revenge when the unfaithful partner is just like, get on with it. Like I said, I'm sorry, move on. Like, I know you're hurting. Not that they're that dismissive. I don't think that they're that dismissive up front, but I do feel like sometimes they're in so much pain themselves, they don't know how to support the recovery of their spouse who they've hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I do see that. You know what I see though a lot? What I actually see is a lot of times the betrayed spouse wants a husband or wife who's understanding and compassionate and admits they're wrong, right? That's what we say we want. In those relationships where the unfaithful spouse is willing to change, doing all the work, they're remorseful, they're taking all the necessary steps. The betrayed spouse, they don't care. Like, okay, you doing it, and I'm not ready yet, right? So they struggle still, even though someone's showing up.
I see that too. I see
a
that
lot.
Too. Yeah.
Then the flip side happens.
Right.
Then you have betrayed spouses who beg and plead to stay and let's work it out, and why won't you do right? And they're partnered with somebody who could care less. Right. So, and I'm just like, okay, it seems like sometimes it's a mismatch in terms of finding that level of alignment and connection. When those are doing the work, it's not good enough. But those who don't care and continue to do their own thing, these are the ones who want to stay and want to restore the relationship. And it's just like,
maybe it's a personality style. Maybe that's something to look into, because it's true. There are some that are doing all the work and the spouse still doesn't care because it's about what you did. And that ties into personality styles. But I do still think that when you have an unfaithful partner that doesn't show up 100% ready to do the work to help the partner heal, whatever the vice that shows up is going to be 10 times worse. Like if you're the type of person that is a vengeful person and you are married to somebody who isn't really trying to do the work, your vengeance is going through the roof, right? Because we say this all the time. Nobody can bring out of you what's not already in you, right? You already have the seeds of your vices in you, right? And so an affair is the perfect soil to just bloom all of that negativity out of you. But it was already there, right? If you hit people, you've always hit people, but now you're hitting me because of what I did to you.
It's like the sleeping giant has just been awakened.
It is. I mean, if you cuss people out, I didn't make you cuss people out. You were already the type of person that cusses people out. You just got to the level of stress in your relationship that now you cussing everybody out. You can't even drive down the street without cussing somebody out. And so I'm just saying that what I notice is that when you have a partner that is doing everything, right? They wronged you and they know they did, and it breaks their heart that you're hurting and you have that support. It helps the person that was betrayed because they are dealing with their vices right now. Everything is just so raw and open, right? And you don't know what's going to come out of it.
So this is why it's so important. If you are the unfaithful partner, you have to have a sensitivity and an empathy to the pain that your spouse is going through, right? Because to your point, it's just like you awaken this beast and now you're catching it because they're mad, right? And they're releasing their pain back on you for what you've done. And it doesn't feel good, but you have to understand what got them in that place and not only work on yourself, but you're responsible for helping your betrayed spouse heal as well.
Period. Please
you
know
play
that.
a role in that.
Please know that.
So this idea is, well, listen, I'm good. You need to figure it out. You need to listen. I'm doing my work, but what about you? Don't you have a responsibility? Aren't you a grown adult? Why I got to spoon feed? Well, no, Joker, you contributed to that pain, and so you have a significant role to play. And we say this all the time. You can't do your spouse's work. Your spouse can't do your work, but both of you have work to do. And this is why you go to somebody who can help you, because they act as an accountability, checks and balances, coaching you through when you mess up, because it's going to happen, to make sure that you're continuing on the path to recovery. There's the individual journey and the collective journey that you have together. And it requires more than just watching videos and reading a book and reading articles, because you're getting pieces and fragments of truth. But there's a system and a process that you have to go through beyond head knowledge. See, change and transformation comes when you experience things, not just intellectually read things. So when people read things and watch videos and say, oh my God, that information was so incredible, it changed my life. No, it may have changed your perspective. It didn't change your life. Now we have to go through a process where it actually changes you. And that's why we're saying, sign up for the Last Chance Weekend Overcoming Emotional Triggers Masterclass, join Foundry, join Unearthed. I'm going to be obnoxious about our programs from this point on. I'm not tiptoeing, tap dancing, or pussyfooting around none of it. You need to get in.
Where's my brother? He going to tell us we going in.
We created these things for you because we love you.
Yes.
So listen, guys, we appreciate you. Tune in tonight for another Ask the Experts episode. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow for another Couples Academy show where we talk about the pain of the unfaithful partner.
Tune in.
Take care.
Bye. Then, anyway.